Hey guys, you're listening to another episode of You're Owning It. Nope, that is not it. Knives? We're live.
We're live.
You know, I do like the episode. We did go back and forth of You're Owning It.
We did. Yeah.
But actually, you're listening to another episode of You're Human, which I like way more. Episode 16, it is the call-in show where nothing's off the table. You can call in and ask whatever. You can call in, talk shit. You can call in, we can argue, fight. I don't care, whatever you want to do. Yeah, we're live, and there is no, there's no filtering. There's no filtering it. So, call-in number is 512-523-5609. You know, the topic of the week, threads. What does everybody think about threads?
I'm into it.
You are?
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, I can't figure out what to say on it. I don't, you know, I will tell you this. It's kind of funny seeing people on there because people are so desperate for attention that they're just posting shit after shit after shit. And I'm just waiting for all these people, you know, can you imagine all these people that spent that money on getting followers on these other platforms and now they got to do it again?
You said something wild on Threads.
What'd I say?
That you signed up for something.
I did. I don't know. I got something in my throat. I did. I signed up for a 100-mile race.
No big deal.
Nah. Hey, what's going on? It's Dakota at the Your Human Podcast.
Hey, Dakota, how's it going?
Good.
Here from Missouri, brother.
What's up?
No, not much, man. How you doing today, brother?
Doing good, man. How are you?
You know, can't complain. The weather's nicer than most days.
Awesome. What's going on today?
Man, I got to tell you right now, first of all, I've been watching what you've been posting, and it's pretty damn awesome, the firefighter stuff, man. Like I said, I always love it. My question to you is, have you seen this new Medal of Honor coffee that Black Rifle has?
I haven't. Why?
Dakota, it's amazing. I assume that's what the sweat of like y'all when you come back from combat is like. 'Cause that's just the funniest thing that I can think of. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, it's beautiful and it's amazing. You need to try it out, brother. I'm amazed that you haven't tried it out.
Man, I'll be honest. I didn't even know it existed.
Brother, yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's called Black Rifle Coffee Company, and it's got obviously the Medal of Honor, just like a drawing, and then National Medal of Honor Museum Foundation. The white box. It's a beautiful box.
Dang, that's badass. Well, yeah, listen, I appreciate you calling and telling me. I didn't even know it existed. So, like, that's badass. It sounds like it's badass.
I mean, man, it's pretty good. I'll tell you that much.
Can you tell the difference in it and anything else?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, because I ground it myself. You know, I get the beans and whatnot, and you know, obviously my palate, my brown ass ain't that good with my palate. You know, like everything has to have spice for me in order for me to even taste something.
You know, is that like do you think it's like a brown thing?
I mean, man, I'm Puerto Rican, and I can only speak for myself, but I tell you what, when I came to the States, like, when I moved to the continental states, actually, my bad, Puerto Rico is part of the U.S., the food here is very bland.
Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you, like,
my food was horrible, bro.
My daughters talk shit to me all the time, but, like, I put hot sauce on everything. Do you think I could be, like...
Listen. No. Dead serious right now. Not even messing with you. To the people listening, I am not joking. Okay?
What?
Go to Walmart.
Okay.
Go to Walmart. Whenever you go to Walmart, okay?
Uh-huh.
You're going to go to the Mexican aisle, whatever they call it. Cultural aisle, Hispanic aisle, whatever.
They don't call it the Mexican aisle, though, do they?
No. God,
yeah.
no. There would be a riot in the street, bro.
I don't know. I got to be honest. Like, I bet you this. I bet it wouldn't be Hispanic people doing the rioting. I mean, I think they would be fine with it.
Oh God, no. We would laugh.
It would probably be. Why are
Mexican?
It would probably be a bunch of white people out there in skinny jeans
It would be a bunch of white people.
talking shit about how, you know, discriminated against Hispanics are.
Hey man, I get asked for my green card at least like once a month.
I love you, man.
I shit you not. I shit you not, Dakota. I cannot make this up. But listen, before I let you go,
Yeah.
because I got to finish cooking, you got to get you this thing called sazon, and it's part of Goya. It's S as in Sierra, Alpha, Zulu, Oscar, November.
Okay.
Sazon Goya. And you put a little bit of that in anything. And I promise you, it's a Goya. It's got to be Goya.
Goya.
I promise you, your food's going to taste better, brother.
Okay, what's it called again?
Sazon Goya.
Sazon Goya.
Oh my God, beautiful, brother.
All right, listen, I told you, I think we might be related somewhere.
Oh, my man, I can't be related to greatness. Are you
Ah,
crazy?
shit. You're kidding me. All right, brother, listen, I'm going to go get me some of that Sazon Goya.
Sazon Goya.
Sazon
Bro,
Goya.
take it easy, man. Love talking to you. God
Love you,
bless
brother. Have a great day. Nice. That's like...
Sean on Facebook says, don't even get me started on the cracker aisle.
I can't touch that one. Man, nice. So what do you, I mean, you know, I guess I'm not profiling you or nothing, but like, do you know anything about some Sazon Goya?
Yeah, Goya is the name of the brand. That's like the Nike.
Oh.
Sazon is the name of the...
Sazon.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, it's Dakota at the Your Human Podcast.
Hey, Dakota.
What?
Bill Martin, the trucker, man.
Oh, what's up, brother?
Oh, man. Just chilling out.
Hey,
Brother.
where are you at today?
Kansas.
Kansas? Man, you all over the place.
All over the place, man.
What you been
Down
doing?
7 pounds since last week, brother.
Hell yeah. You been drinking water?
Oh, that's all I do, man.
Man, how's that working out going?
Oh, it's going good because I joined this little thing called On the Dash.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, I go to Playbook.
Love it.
Yeah, man.
You getting
Learned
it?
man.
You getting it in?
Getting it in, brother.
How's life?
Man, life's good.
Hey, you know what I want from you? I want to know a cool story in the last week because I know you're driving all over the place and I know you see shit all the time. So tell me, give me a good story.
A good story. Well, let's see. Now, you want to exclude the lot lizards that come up to the truck, right?
Let's leave the lot lizards off.
Leave them alone. Okay. All right. Well,
Do they have teeth? Like, hey, is there like do they have teeth?
man, you know what? Maybe if you put 3 or 4 of them together, they might have a full set. But, man, this girl comes up to my truck last week just beating on my damn door. I mean, beating. I'm a nice guy. You know, I always tell them. You know, I try to be nice, but I just say, you know what, honey, I don't even carry cash on me. I told that girl that. Man, she said she got damn Venmo and PayPal. And said I could even sell it. So I, you know what? I'm good.
Hey, you know what you ought to. Hey, will you do this for me the next time that happens? Like, here's what I would love to hear you do to them, and you watch their face.
And I'll record it.
I want, like, when they come knocking, and they come up there and be like, you know, how much are you gonna pay? And when they look at you, they're like, well, what do you mean? Well, be like, well, I'm not cheap. How much are you gonna pay?
That's right, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm not cheap. I ain't no damn cheap truck driver. They gotta come off the hip with something here.
Yeah, I mean, you're not cheap, and you should tell them that. I mean, they're the ones out there trying to get business, so you should tell them that they need to pay you.
And that's what I'll do, man. Exactly what I'll do.
You know?
But I was coming through. God, where was it? I was coming through the other day. And so I see a helicopter crash. Well, I ain't even going to say a crash, just a hard set in.
Yeah.
But he was on the side, he was trying to land like on the side of the interstate. And, brother, when they set in, man. I'm telling you, I pulled my rig over, man. Their asses was hurting, but they were okay.
Man, that's a scary thing. How often do you see, like, well, I mean, I know it's a dumb question, but that's why I'm asking it. But like, how often do you see these idiots? You know, because you're up in the rig, you can see down in people's cars. How often do you?
Ask me this, I dare you.
How often do you see? Do you see like some of these bedroom activities going down the road?
At least twice a week. So the cool thing is, if I go through a college town, you always see kitties.
Oh, I bet.
I shouldn't have said it that way.
Well, hey, we all know what they are.
That's right. We all know what they are. So
yeah,
you're always getting that. I got 4 sets the other day in a Jeep.
Man, I gotta tell you,
cool.
I gotta tell you, like, it's just so interesting. Like, cause I mean, how many miles you go a day?
Well, I don't usually get about 700 a day, 700 to 800.
Yeah, but you do that like a lot of days a week.
Oh, I do it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't been home in 3 months, man.
You're the man. You know what I might do one day? I might find a way to come meet you somewhere, and then we ride from one city to the next.
Brother, I'll throw you in this truck, man, and I'm telling you, you know, it's not a bad life, man.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, I'll tell you this,
You're
hey,
doing something honorable.
and just so you know, I mean, when you get tired, I can drive. I mean, I got a Class A CDL, baby.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah. So when you get tired, I'll pull your rig for you, right? We'll get 1,400 miles that day.
Hey, I ain't against team driving, man. See, I had a team driver one time, and he got up in my new truck, and he said, I will tell you, he said, I do like to smoke. Man, I pulled over. I called our dispatch. I said, hey, y'all got to send somebody after us, too. I said, he thinks he's going to smoke in my damn truck. I said, he lost his mind.
Oh man, I love it. Well, man, listen, I hope you're careful this week.
Oh, I will be, brother. I just want to let you know my update on my workout there, man.
Well, I look forward to hearing from you next week.
Yes, sir, brother.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Take care.
Thanks.
Dude, I love that guy.
I gotta get my license. Sounds like a good gig.
Bro, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's all over it.
And he's getting after it too.
He's getting after it. Down 7 pounds on the road, traveling every day.
Oh, is that what he said? Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. He's on the program.
What's the excuse, right?
No excuse.
No excuse. He's out there owning it.
He's owning it every single day.
I love that dude. Hey, it's Dakota at the Your Human Podcast.
Hey, Dakota, what's going on, man?
What's
I
up?
was going to get through instantly.
How are you?
Oh, good, brother. Hey, my name's Jordan Ryan. I'm actually from Kentucky as well. Just got out of the Marine Corps May 15th.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to give you a shout-out. You're a huge inspiration to kind of the mindset of me training in and out of the Corps. Not you directly, a bunch of dudes that did conventional force deployment, 2 more soft deployments when I was over at
Hell yeah.
But I just wanted to say, I was in there, I watched the JRE podcast you did a while back with, and I kind of put the mentality of my podcast that I started called Fire and Forget Podcast, but how you talked about get out, you know, you went through a transitional period. I know that most of your call-ins are positive and funny, but you went through a transitional period. It was pretty hard for you. Kind of couldn't figure out where you were at, and you were sitting around, and I know you talked about the difficult, hard part.
Yeah.
Came out of the darkness, and but you talked about how people didn't owe you anything, and I love that mentality. You know, when I was a pulley, I went to your RS actually. They put play carriers on us, and we had to run around a little shopette, you know.
Yeah.
And now looking back through it all, you know, going for the Marine Corps, 3 deployments, and a whole bunch of 3 administrations, and I'm sitting here doing my own podcast. It's pretty much people like you, you know, the good faith citizens, small town, living person, pays their taxes and does the right thing, transition out, Medal of Honor recipient, firefighter, family man, Jim, you know, I love it, man. Just wanted to give you a shout out and say thank you for what you do. And
man, it means a ton. That means a ton. Reach out to me on Instagram. I'd love to get with you on a podcast.
Yeah, I'm small, man, so just let you know. But I will be going to Texas when I'm traveling doing the podcast. I'll reach out to you.
Yeah, if you're coming to Texas, like come by my gym. We'll get a workout in. We'll do a little cold plunge. We'll do a little podcast, right? I mean, listen, guess what? At the end of the day, we're all small to somebody.
That's actually very true. You
know, at the end of the day, like there's always somebody bigger. But yeah, man, I appreciate that. It means a ton. And I believe it, right? Like, man, you know, it's all about, I mean, I had a podcast with a guy yesterday, Danny Miranda, and I just believe that, like, I'm gonna keep doing for people. I feel like I owe everybody. I feel like I owe everybody. I owe everybody at a minimum. Every single person I come in contact with, every single person on the face of the planet, even the people that I don't know, I owe them to be the best me at a minimum.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of, so I ended up, I got med boarded out because my lumbar sacral disc are all jacked up, good old rucksack, but it was actually just a freak accident in my first deployment. But and I was sitting around pondering. I kind of got into a dark place while I was still active duty, and I was like, man, what am I gonna do with my life? I really was I was gonna do a stint, go back to the fleet for a bit, and then go back and do a few more soft deployments when I get the opportunity. I got out as staff sergeant, and I was like, what can I do to benefit society? So I created the podcast, and I was like, I gotta try to emulate some of these people who give their entire life towards service towards the community and the country. So that's what you're doing right now.
Man,
so I love it.
that means a ton.
I'll definitely hit you up. I've been pondering, and I told my buddies a year or so ago, as I was still active duty, so I couldn't do a whole lot because of, social media misconduct policies that came out and all that stuff. So, and I said, I'm going to hit up Dakota Meyer, and I guess today's the day.
Hell yeah, man. Listen, I'm 100% in on it. So, shoot me a message on Instagram, and then what I'll do is I'll get you on the list, and when you come here, like, man, I'll sit down with you all day.
All right, brother, man. I'll let you get back.
Appreciate you, brother. Hey, thank you for your service, man. Thank you for what you're doing. Hey, what part of Kentucky you from?
Bardstown.
Bardstown? Man, we played y'all in football.
Man. Yeah, we're locals, brother.
We're locals. When were you in high school?
I graduated in 13.
Yeah, so my last time I'm just say it. I'm old.
You're not that old.
Dude, last time I played there was 2005.
I know.
Bro, what grade were you in 2005?
I was going into middle school, I think.
Man, and you got out as a staff sergeant?
Yeah.
Man.
I would have been in zone for Gunny this year, actually.
So you would have been in zone for Gunny this year. So hold on. So you were in middle school when the last time I played football, my senior year, against Bardstown, and then.
Well, I was Nelson County kid.
Oh, you're Nelson County? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for letting me know how old I am. I can't wait to hang out with you, get a good workout in, and for us to sit down and do a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll hit you up later on today or tomorrow on IG, and we'll connect, brother.
Hey, yeah, man. Take care. Knives. Dude, I went in yesterday for a flight physical.
Okay.
And I'll be honest with you. Like, I used to love going in and doing those vision things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And now, like, it's kind of scary.
You turned 35, and now what's happening?
I'm 35, and, like, shit's going just sideways. Like, I went in, like, I'm looking in this little thing, like, and they hold up the bottom one, and I'm like, man, that shit doesn't look as clear as it used to. I used to, but I refuse to go up a line. I'm not doing it. I'm holding the line, Knives.
You wear contacts?
No.
So this is all natch.
Dude, I'm all nat.
By the way, we got a lot of new watchers, new listeners going on right now. We're peaking.
Hell yeah. Hey, it's Dakota at your Human Podcast.
Hey.
What's up?
You live?
Yeah, we're live. Live action.
Okay.
As Turtle Man used to say.
Well, all right, cool. Semper Fi.
Semper Fi.
Brother, I met you one time, a long time ago. You definitely don't remember me.
Where at?
But Camp Pendleton, Horno.
Okay. Badass.
So I was in 1-4, and you came. I guess it was after the MOA, and yeah, I remember you were visiting. I don't remember it because I was in like 12 years ago, and something about like someone who won the Murph that day got to have lunch with you or something like that. It wasn't me.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I didn't know that, but that's cool.
Yeah.
What?
Anyways, I wanted to call you up because I really like what you're doing. I mean, I've only seen you a couple months now on YouTube. I didn't know you were on before that. And I think a lot of the messages, I've commented on some of your videos, but I think a lot of the messages you're preaching or talking about are very important, and they're not, let's say, they're not sexy,
Yeah.
right? Which can be difficult in terms of getting attention, social media, stuff like that. But I think they're very, very important. Right now, and maybe this will segue into a question, but right now what I see in America is a lot of weakness of men and a lot of blaming on other things that I do think deserve blame. For instance, you know, the government's fucked up. Things are not good, but I really think it all comes back to the individual man and the weakness, keeping men in fear, making bad decisions, society pretty messed up. And if I recall correctly, I think you have a kid that you had talked about on the podcast, and also, like myself, went through some, it sounded like, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, some family court type stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I have 2 kids, and like, you know,
Okay.
yeah, but I mean, fortunately for like, no, I mean, yeah, I mean, we obviously, you know, when you go to a divorce, like, you know, you obviously have those custody things, right? You got to navigate and figure out. And, yeah, man, I mean, you know, I think we've all been there, especially if you're trying to separate out and, you know, two parents are going their opposite ways, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I spent about 10 years in family court, even going so far as fighting pro se, meaning without an attorney,
Yeah.
representing myself, and at times against a team of attorneys. And when I say a team, I mean working concurrently together in the courtroom against me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've definitely seen some things post-Marine Corps, and I've done some pretty good things, and I've landed in some pretty not good spots. But anyways,
But doing the right thing, like, even in all that, like, I'm a true believer that, you know, you might not get what you might not win the battle today, but you're going to win the war by continuing to do what's right and stand on the side of right.
Right. No, I agree. You're definitely correct.
You know, and you're right. And you know, my messages that I've been putting out, like, they're not sexy. They're not headliners. They're not going to make you feel great, right? Like, they're going to piss you off. They're going to bring out the shit that you're trying to cover up. But guess what? We're all going through it. We all have the same thoughts, doubts. We all know it, right? And it's like, I'm just going to say it, you know, and I'm, you know, that's the cool part about where I'm at in life is that, man, I'll be honest, like, I don't need a sponsor for this podcast. You know, I don't do this for the money. I do this because I want to help people. And I believe that at the end of the day, like, you know, I'm going to say how I believe. I'm not going to tell people how they should live, right? I don't want to do that. I think people should live the life that they're okay with living. But I just think that, like you said, the only way that we can, you know, you can only blame the government for so long. You can only blame the nation for so long. Like, all these things are made up of individuals, right? And, you know, when individuals suck, then everything sucks.
Exactly. No, that's exactly right. And I'm talking about getting to the root of issues. Whereas, I mean, I know I'm kind of going a little bit left field, but I notice a lot of influencers who purport to be in the best interest of men, right? Male improvement, whether it be physical, dating, whatever the case. What I notice is they end up being used car salesmen because they're too focused on their own pockets, their own message for their own money. And I think that it keeps people, well, men in particular, in a perpetual cycle of weakness. And I know that's a very
you're right.
word, right? I say weakness.
No, you're right. I mean, I think that everybody who has a following has an obligation to be who they say they are, right? Like, I know one,
right.
Like, when you say that, I know one guy that I had followed. I even went on his podcast and had him on mine. And then, like, next thing you know, you figure out, like, he's not even living that life, you know? And it's like, dude, no, like, you're fake. Like, you're out here talking about men, about how men should be. And, like, behind the closed doors, your shit's crumbling. Like, just be real. Just be fucking real. But again, like that, you're right. They go to padding their pockets. They go to being, you know, the thing is like this image of nobody's perfect, right? And this syndrome of I mean, that's like where all these filters come in and all this dumb shit. It's like, be who you say you are, right? Like, and guess what? Nobody expects you. Like, the reality is that you need to share your faults and the days that you don't feel like getting up and doing it and all this. And the more you do that, you share that, it lets other people know that this is normal instead of, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's a crazy, crazy world, man. And you're right.
Right. I think what what you were just referring to in particular is unrealistic expectations of oneself and other people's self. And we see a lot of men in particular, I believe, pedestalizing other men.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that man, I can't even say that now.
Yeah, putting somebody on a pedestal.
Man,
That's a big word.
Leads to exactly what you were just talking about, right? I don't know who it was, but you met this person who ended up not being authentic to, let's say, you perceive them based on what they put out there as a person, right?
Yeah, and like I'm not perfect. Like, let me tell you, like when you talk about a guy who has every thought and doubt in his head against him every single day from the time my alarm clock goes up in bed, it goes off when I'm in bed, like all of it, right? Like, I mean, that's the reality. And I just get on here and I just speak from the heart. I don't have any agenda. I mean, the only thing I can look up at my whiteboard and say is I know what episode it is and I know what the call-in number is. Outside that, like, I'm here to have conversations with people all over, authentic, real conversations, right? And man, like, I think that's what we got to get back to is people being real and people, men especially, like, we got to get out of this idea that, I can't stand when I hear, like, it makes me want to throw up when I hear a guy or a man say, I just don't feel appreciated. Well, like, that's not like that's an emotional fucking thing. Like, you're not put on earth to feel appreciated. Like, you're put on earth to do your fucking work, right? To be what a man is, right? Like, oh, well, I'm just going to stop being a good man because I don't feel appreciated. Like, that is the weakest, cowardest excuse I've ever heard in my entire life.
Well, this is exactly what I'm getting at, is this weakness. We have a society of emotionally driven men. And by the way, I mean, just as you were talking about, right, our flaws, and I put this out there, that I was certainly one. And not to say like, oh, I made it to exactly where I need to be, and now I'm Superman. I'm saying that I've made it to a point where I recognize how weak I was emotionally, how easily I could be triggered, emotionally swayed. And again, this is all relative, right? Like, everything is relative. And
it's fucking embarrassing, isn't it?
It is.
Like, I look back at the man that I was. I mean, I talked about this on the Danny Miranda podcast yesterday. It's going to be coming out in a week. I talked about this yesterday. Like, it's embarrassing, like, for me to think about when I was like, oh, I don't feel like doing it, like, blah, 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 blah. Like, and I'll tell you what's even worse is the motherfuckers I was around that was letting me be like that. And I think about the two people in my life that really changed my trajectory. And Danny actually brought this up because he done his research, really, really incredible podcast. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out, Danny Miranda podcast. But he said, Dakota, like, I seen a big difference, a big change with you after the Jocko Willink podcast. And I think about it and I'm like, you're right. Like, life started changing for the better after I met Jocko Willink. And it was not for any other reason than the fact that I met somebody who I wanted to be like, and I met somebody who actually lived it, who was real. And honestly, like, Jocko believed in me more than I ever believed in myself. But I'll tell you this, Jocko was not going to listen to any bullshit, right? And then fast forward a little bit to Tim Kennedy, right? And Tim Kennedy, I'll never forget, I've said this 1,000 times, I've told this story all over. I came in one day to the On It gym and Knives was probably with me filming, and I was like bitching, complaining and all this bullshit about, life. I was going through a divorce and all this craziness. And Tim looked at me and he goes, man, when you walk in a room, like, people look at you as a warrior. And I was like, yeah. He goes, you should fucking act like one. And I was like, oh shit, man. Right? Like, did it feel good? Did it piss me off? Like, yeah. Like, if I thought I could have whooped Tim Kennedy's ass right there, I would have probably tried. But I like my teeth. And honestly, like, I like my face, right? And But you know what? He was right. And I'll tell you, like, that's the thing is like when you get around people like that who care about you so much that they don't give a shit what you want to hear. They just are going to tell you what you need to hear. I mean,
Exactly.
that's when shit starts to change, right? And we as men have to start calling out other men.
Right. Exactly. No, this is exactly what I'm getting at. Which, again, I think that you're really on the same, or, well, let's say similar page to me. I don't want to say that we're the same, but I just started. I know you got all these people calling in, all these dudes like, I got a podcast. I do not have a podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I just started making YouTube videos a couple weeks ago, and I got like 100,000 views real quick, which isn't that much, but I mean, compared
More than me.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I assume you got a few million. But I'd like to, at some point, if you were down, had time, I know, based on what I heard, you're pretty busy. But get like a real, like, get under the surface, more in depth, as to this kind of back and forth. What is needed, where the actual problems are, on an individual and then moving to a family, societal level.
If you'll ask me real hard questions, I'll fucking do it.
Yeah.
But I don't need these softball questions. Like, I don't like here. No, I don't want you to send them to me. What I want you to do is I want you to like, I'm willing to I'd love to come on, right? I'd love to do something with you. Like, you sound like you've put thought into this, and like, I don't meet too many people who've put much thought into these kinds of things. And you seem like you just want to figure out the problem and you know, and I would love to do it, but I'll tell you, man, I want it to be a hard podcast. I want the hard questions asked. Okay. I want it to be raw, and that's what I want to do. I want us to get in there and just nail it all out and not even care what people think.
Well, I cannot let Dakota down. And what I'll tell you is this, that I think that you and I will prepare. I'll spend the next, when I get the chance next week preparing for this, and then we can discuss when we can do it.
Yeah.
But what I want to tell you is I want to make them difficult enough and in-depth enough that even though, you know, going back to the beginning of the conversation, right, a lot of this isn't sexy, I think that it is going to be sexy, especially given you. Right, I'm not hitting on you.
No, yeah.
But what I mean
is
that you the man, right? You the Marine, right? I was in the infantry. I didn't do shit compared to what you did. And I'm not trying to, like, you know, kiss your ass. I'm just saying I show respect where it's due. And at the end of the day, I see you come off as very, very humble. And I appreciate that tremendously. I try to be humble.
Yeah.
At the same time, I also, in some of what I do, the kind of funnel that I go after is triggering people. And I trigger people all the time. Not out of a mean-heartedness, not out of an evilness. And I'll let them know after, like, look, this is why. This is your own weakness. I'm simply being a mirror for you right now, right? I don't have an agenda to make you feel bad, et cetera, but think about something. If I can say something to you and you feel a certain way and start to act a certain way because of what I said, as a man, and I'm talking to men in particular, isn't that kind of telling you something about yourself?
Dude, tells you everything, right? And like, I love that. I love that. I mean, I love that, you know, because when somebody says something to me that bothers me like that I have some type of emotional response.
Right.
Dude, I think about it all day. Not in a way of like, fuck that person. I think about it in a way of, why does this bother me?
Right.
What do I need to do to fix this?
Right. And I don't want to, like, give too much spoiler away, because we can talk offline and, you know, set something up. I'd love to. But I want to tell you something that I used to, and even post-Marine Corps, right? I just spent 4 years, 0341, by the way.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. And even post my Marine Corps experience, I really was still weak. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a tremendous benefit, and, you know, obviously we can talk about some of that. But what I'm saying is that what happened after that, I don't think most people would even believe. Like, they'd just be like, this is way too far-fetched. I mean, less than, right, getting cancer and dying, or losing a limb, or lots of other severe things that could happen. But what I'm getting at is the type of, let's call it, trauma that I went through really, like, flushed out my bullshit, like, very hardcore.
Yeah.
I mean, it was multitudes of what I went through in the Marine Corps. Well, let me tell you something. If it weren't for the Marine Corps, I never would have made it to that point.
100%.
And I recognize that in myself. So it was a very important I don't want to call it a stepping stone, but you
Yeah.
know what I mean, bridge to becoming who I am today, which still needs work, of course. But what I'm getting at is this. I don't remember the last time I was triggered or felt particularly mad or sad or happy. You know, again, I don't want to give too much away, but I do think that there is something and some things that can definitely help men out that I've learned through my experiences, in particular, basically a hardening.
Hell yeah.
And it's kind of a make or break, right?
Well, and I also believe the harder you get, the more you can feel, right? The harder you get, like to me, like I feel happiness. I mean, when I'm with my fiance or I'm with my kids, like I'm as happy as can be, right? You know, I feel that. But let me tell you this: I don't like. I decide where I feel these things, right? Nobody else is gonna like. It's on my terms, not on anybody else's.
Right. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And you know, words can mean different things, obviously. But
Yeah.
what I seek after, what I think that men should seek after, is not what most people refer to as happiness, but rather peace.
Yeah.
I know these are
Peace.
words, and on the surface, right, these are blanket words that obviously we have to associate. What does it actually mean? But what I'm talking about is basically going back to what you were talking about, being emotionally led and driven.
Mm-hmm.
Men driving the car, driving the bus, the family, etc., emotionally.
Well, people think like in their relationship, men have this false perspective, whether it's working out, going to their job, in a relationship, or whatever, that they should, well, if I'm not excited to go do it, then it's not for me, right? And that's where people, like everybody's excited in the beginning to start something new and to, you know, in a relationship or whatever. And like, that's not it. What you're talking about is peace. It's about consistency. It's about discipline. It's about trusting the process. It's about knowing the results.
Yeah.
It's about going to where you want to go, right? Like you're not going to wake up every day and be excited. I mean, you could literally whatever you want to use. Porn stars probably aren't excited to go have sex somewhere, right? Like people who love cocaine probably are not excited to do cocaine every time, right? Like somebody who loves, you know, cars or whatever probably gets tired of selling cars or buying cars, right? Like you're not gonna always be excited to do things that you love, but it's about that love, right? Like that's an emotional feeling, right? Like that's an emotional.
That's what I'm trying to separate.
Yeah, and that's right, and like that's the way it should be, right? Like you've got, as men, we have got to be, you know, look, I believe in life you can either have a priority of being liked or being trusted, and as men we have to be trusted.
Right, the respect, trust should come, I mean, just to put it real simple, right, before these feelings like, oh, I hope this person likes me. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Who gives a
they
fuck?
Don't like you, so what?
You know, I tell people this all the time. Like, you could be walking down the road and $100 bill fly up off of the ground that somebody had dropped and it lands in your hand, and there's 3 other people with you, and one of them will automatically hate you because it flew in your hand and they didn't get it. And the next person will be happy for you, and the third person won't give a shit. So who cares what people think?
Yeah, and you know, again, emotion, and this used to be me. So again, I want to, you know, I'm not just trying to fault myself. I'm just saying that, right? I'm not saying I'm above anyone else, but I recognize this weakness in myself, from the previous me, and now when I look around, it's nauseating. I'm just like, I am surrounded by weak men, blaming everything but themselves. And here's what I'm going to say: there's no luck. You didn't get unlucky. You're exactly where you're supposed to be.
100%.
Whether or not you want to listen to the signs, whether or not you want to actually improve yourself, get better, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But to, you know, be like, I got unlucky. How many men have you heard say that? Oh, I just got so unlucky.
No.
Unlucky.
No, you didn't. Yeah, no, I'm with you, man.
Right.
So send me over your info, and I'd love to get on and do something with you.
Yeah, okay. What's the best way to send it to you? I don't have Instagram or Facebook. I've been banned a long time.
Oh, man. Can you send it over?
Like,
Are you watching on YouTube right now?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube.
Leave it in the
I got
YouTube
an
comments.
account. I'm going to tag you too, and I got my email linked.
Great. Leave it in the YouTube comments. We have those saved right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so Knives will get it, and then he'll get it over, and we'll get something set up.
All right.
Hell yeah, man. Appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, thanks, Sergeant. It was good to talk to you again, even though our first conversation was a long time ago. Neither of us really remember.
Well, thanks, brother.
For real, good talking to you. Have a good one.
All right, you too. See ya. Man, that was cool, wasn't it?
That was cool. I don't know if we have enough time for another call.
Yeah, I don't think we do either. I've got to literally get off here and go. I'm actually going to go on Fox News and do a pre-recording for tonight over this Senator Tuberville holding up all this shit with the Marine Corps, right? Or the military, actually. It's politicizing the military over this abortion aspect. So really going to get on there and kind of push in and talk about, you know, this is not the place to do this, because it's a very dangerous game that he's playing. So hopefully we can get this fixed, you know, just gotta try. But listen, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you all watching. This is episode 16, and we will be here next Tuesday at noon. And I hope you all have a great week and keep owning it.